life is easier on Earth. Yet, some choose to live on sea. Let's explore that part of the world today. Today, we have my childhood friend, Vishnu, who himself is a marine engineer and works on a ship. Let's deep dive today into life on sea. Let's start with a question, which is the main topic of our podcast. Are you happy?
Extremely happy, I would say, because there is too much freedom. And once you come on land, we have, the job is particularly like we work around 5 months or 4 months of contract and like in a year. And once you come back, you have around 3 to 4 months. So yeah, we have a lot of work. The stress is too much when we're on the ship. But once you come here, it's very relaxed. You have the freedom. There's no one calling you. There is no calls at 9 a.m. There is no calls in the evening. There is no calls in the midnight. You can plan whatever with your friend, whichever we have. We were planning to go out, for example, on a Friday or a Thursday. A normal person here cannot do that, but I can do that. So that gives me a lot of freedom and also peace of mind and a lot of things. So I would definitely recommend you should try this once, at least for 10 years or 15 years of time, to explore how it is.
Why did you choose to work on an ocean? Like the world is, like the land has all the basic needs, but still, why did you choose ocean to work on?
Because you see, the land is only 30%, but the ocean is 70%. So why not explore the larger part of the world? And why only stick to the small part of the world? Why not go to those parts and see how it is? So basically, when I was a child, my father, he used to take me to ships in the ports and also. When I used to wonder what are these big things, what do they do and things like that. And later, after the 12th, etc., when I explored, and so I found that, yeah, there are better opportunities and it's a life very different from what people see. And some challenges. So I wanted to explore that part of the world. And also, I would not lie, also the joy was also to watch the world, how different cultures are in the world, how different countries look like, and also the perks of traveling for free. Yeah.
So, what is the step for anyone who aspires to be at your place or to be a marine engineer or to work on a ship? What is the procedure to get yourself on that position?
So basically, if you are in India, you can do mechanical engineering, or you can, and after that, you can do a 1-year course of graduate marine engineering, or you can do direct marine engineering course, or you can, if you want to explore the other part of the world, you can just go outside, like outside India. There are many beautiful colleges in UK, Singapore, Australia, US, where you can actually explore and study about marine engineering or mechanical engineering and BA1, and it's really good. So I would really recommend you should once try something which is outside what's happening in the world. Yeah.
And what pleases you the most to be at your position? Like, there are many jobs which people hate. Do you hate anything of your work, or do you like everything, and what things do you like?
Obviously, there are always pros and cons in everywhere. So it's like if I'm working, yeah, definitely the day when I get the call for joining is the saddest part of my life. I feel like, oh my God, I have to go to work now again, and I have to leave my family for another 4-5 months, worry what's going to happen at home, who's going to look after the family and things like that. But yeah, and even in the airport, once the plane is flying and you see your city, and it feels like, oh my God, like when are you going to see this back again? So it's very nostalgic once you fly. But once you reach the ship and once you start the work, like for 1 day or 2 days, then life just goes so fast that you have the responsibility. For example, I am right now a second engineer and due for promotion as a chief engineer. So I have a responsibility of taking care of the whole ship, each and every machinery, be it electrical, pneumatic, hydraulic, or mechanical, in every way, to make sure that each and everything is running, because my job is to make sure that the ship never stops. So that's a very difficult and stressful job, because everything today is moved by the ships, each and everything. So the world will stop when a ship comes to the halt. So yeah, you could say we make sure that the world is running. We make sure that you have these clothes, you have this GoPro, you have these things, this place, at this area, and we work for that. So this is like the good part, and there are the bad parts. Good part, I would say, when we are in the ocean, yeah, like once you can just come out of your work and just breathe the fresh air and look at the oceans and explore the most beautiful scenic views one can ever see or imagine in their lives. So you can see what you have been looking in the notebook covers in actual life. So that's something different what one should have an experience of.
Is there anything that you're afraid of when you're on water, when you're working?
Obviously, I would say that if there is any marina or if there is any marine engineer or a nautical person, if they say that, no, we are not afraid of the sea. No, it's a very big false statement, because obviously we are like an ant in front of an elephant when we are traveling on a ship in a big ocean, because we never know what can happen, when it can happen. So yeah, we just believe in God, and we just pray that every new day we have a beautiful life and we can return back to our loved ones in one piece, in a safe way. So that's what it is. So yeah, we feel afraid when we hear that, okay, there are storms coming in our way, or there is any cyclone, or there is any earthquake, or piracy attacks, even wars, because we are affected by almost everything. Like, for example, now the war is going on in the Russia and Ukraine, or earlier there was the Hamas attacks in Israel, things like that. So we are always affected by things, but our job is to make sure that, okay, like, we have to do our work wherever we are, whatever we are doing, because that's why they are paying us. So we have a responsibility towards them as well, to make sure that everything is running calm and good.
And how much is piracy part of that fear?
Piracy is always part of a small fear which sits inside your head when your route changes. So the moment we get a mail that, okay, your route has changed, the first thing people look up on is, okay, which place is it going? Is it a watertight zone? Is it a piracy area? Or things like that. Some people are becoming happy because we get paid in the piracy areas more. But then there are some people who think that, okay, my God, will I return back home, or things like that? Because we always see stories, movies of what's happening. There have been people whom I know, even my friends, who have experienced the piracy attacks. Some people never had the courage to go back to the ship because of what they faced. But I hope that God be with everyone, every seafarer, and they never have to face these things in their life, basically.
What is the day routine when you are on a sea?
So basically, when we are on ship, we have two departments. Like, one is the engine department and one is the deck department. So the deck departments, they look after where the ship is going, the routes, then the cargo handling, etc. And we make sure that the ship is running, machineries are running. We give, if they have any issues, we have the solutions. So we call ourselves the solution makers, or the problem solving part of the industry. A daily life is like, we have two type of ships. One is like the watch-keeping ship, then there is the unmanned ship, where there is no one in the engine room and we can just relax in our cabins, and we have alarms coming in, things like that. And if it's a watch-keeping ship, it means that the ship is always manned. Like, one person will have a responsibility from starting midnight to 4 a.m., then 4 a.m. to 8 a.m., other person, then the other person will be again 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. So it's like there are 3 engineers and 3 nautical officers who always make sure that the deck and the engine are manned for the safety of the cargo, safety of the ocean, the people, and everyone. So we have around 20 to 24 people on board the ship. A daily life is quite beautiful if we have a very beautiful environment, if the work environment is good, if the people are good, then it's really a beautiful place to work, because you have to live there with those same people for the next 6 months or 4 months or 5 months. That's really challenging, because if someone is not good, then you have to deal with them. You have to also respect them and make sure that the work is going on. So it's really a beautiful journey, I would say.
Do you get bored on a sea?
If one knows what to do and how to live with yourself and enjoy with yourself, then I wouldn't say that anyone would be bored, because first of all, you are so busy doing things on the ship. When you get time, you go out to explore the world. Then we have nowadays, the technologies have so advanced that I'm talking to my parents or my family sitting in the Atlantic Ocean, middle of the ocean, looking at them on a video call whenever I can, and I can see them whichever time I want. So it's really that the technology has gone way far, and we have PS5, we have table tennis courts, basketball courts, movie theaters, and swimming pools. So that's what, if the people are good, then it's really a fun journey for the 5 months that we have. If they are not good, definitely it's going to be the most worst journey of your life. So it all depends on how the people are and how your environment is. And even if they are not good, you can create something of your own and try to live life within yourself in the most beautiful ways.
How long have you been working as a marine engineer now?
I've been working for around 12 years.
12 years. And has anything changed in last 12 years, or is it the same?
A lot. When I joined as a junior engineer, I was in a 25-year-old ship where you had oil coming out from the engines, and it was really scary. Everyone working with their hands and running around the ship here and there. Everything was, I would say, we had to do everything manually. But right now, the technologies are so advanced that just sitting in the control room, first of all, you have cameras everywhere. So you can actually see if there is any indication of any hazardous things happening in the engine room, because it's a very risky place to live. We are actually working on the biggest machineries the world has ever seen. So the impact they can have on us when something happens to them is also very large. So we have CCTVs to monitor what's happening. We have everything, like the temperatures, the pressures, and everything we can monitor sitting on a sofa like this, viewing on the monitor. And we can earlier we had to open up and work for 24 hours to see what's inside. Now we have technology so advanced, we can see the pressures, the temperatures, and everything just looking at the screen. And just clicking by it, we can just change everything. Just like how we are playing a PS5, we can play with it, but just not play. Just think in your mind and do accordingly. Yeah. So it's really fun.
How big are the ships? Some of the ships are as big as a football field as well, right?
Yes, I would say now the largest ship is equivalent to 4 football fields. So it's almost 400 meters, half a kilometer. So they can carry up to, if I'm talking about the container ships, because I work on one, so they can carry almost 24,000 containers in a single voyage. So you can imagine how the technology has been vast, and how these mega structures go from one part of the world to other part of the world, for example, from China to US, in just a matter of maybe 15 days or 20 days, transporting so much amount of goods, raw materials, and the things we need for the world to go on in the future. It's really massive. And I would really suggest that people should go to the ports, actually see what these things are to explore, because it's really fun to sometimes see this.
So like you mentioned that there are many things that you do, like table tennis, basketball, or other sports that you play on a ship when you have your downtime. Which sport is the most preferred one amongst all the seafarers?
Yeah, they love table tennis because it's an indoor game. Everybody loves it because it's fast and not much people have to wait. 4 people can play the same time, and also because the chances of injury are less, because sometimes the ship is rolling 10 degrees, 15 degrees, so you can still hold somewhere and play ball. Yeah, ping pong.
So what that, all the turbulence, what is it called in terms of when the ship actually moves on the ocean, not straight, like not in line, but on its axis it moves around due to waves. What is it
So
actually called?
it's actually the rolling and pitching. When the ship is like, we have so many pressure coming on from the waves, it can be from the wind, and also it can be due if the cargo is not loaded in a correct way, imbalance, then if the ballasting, deballasting is not done in a correct way. So we have a lot of factors which can affect the rolling of the ship. So basically it can, nowadays we have, for example, my company, they have a strategy that if a ship rolls more than 5 degree, they automatically get a message in the data center, and within seconds they will call the captain of the ship and they will ask the captain why the ship is rolling more than 5 degrees. Let's take an action quickly, because if it's a genuine reason, then okay. But then otherwise we reduce the speed, or we do things so that we can, save the car. Otherwise we have a lot of incidents where the containers have fallen on the ocean. There have been accidents in the ship, so we can actually avoid that. So it's really very massive. Can you imagine, like 400 meters of ship? The ocean is so large that it can have impact on a 400-meter ship. So if someone says they are not afraid, they are just lying. Yeah.
When we talked about life on a sea, life on a ship, I also want to talk about relationship on a ship. Do you make friends that easily? Is making friends easier or harder? Because it wouldn't last for a long time. It's only there for some time. And then there are more chances of not meeting that person again. So how do you manage that? And do you, regardless of any feeling, do you make sure that they become friends so that your 5 to 6 months are good? Or do you just say that it's there for some time, just keep it professional and not make it more personal?
It actually depends from person to person, but what I believe is that, and what I motivate my juniors and my staff is that we are there for 5 months or 6 months, or sometimes some people are even there for 9 months. So I tell them we are there as a family. So we don't have our family here. If me and you are working on the ship, I'm going to take care of you and you are going to take care of me. You have me if there is anything, and I have you if there is anything. So I believe that we get, like the people, if they know each other, they get so connected, because you don't have anyone else to talk. Because sometimes, even though we have internet and all those things, we are limited by networks, we are limited by Wi-Fi accesses due to heavy storms or a rough sea, or if there is any issue with the signals. So that time you can only talk with the person you are with. And if you have a good friend, then you are meeting someone every day in your life for the 6 months. You are eating with them, you are working with them, you are going out with them, you are having fun with them. So you are literally doing each and everything with those people, those 20 people in the span of 5 months. So if you think about it, and if you live like a family, like it's a very beautiful environment, and people really live happily for the 5 months. They think that, oh, we are here for a short time. Why not spend it very nicely? And believe me, there are people whom, even I have friends right now who I have been talking to since past 12 years or 10 years, whom I met for 5 months. And they're still like very close friends to me, because we had such a good bonding on ship. And we shared our sorrows, because I cannot call my friend on land because they are busy, or I'm busy at that time. Their time zone doesn't match, or I don't have time. When I have time, they don't have time. But at the same time, my friend here and me, we both share the same scenarios. We know how we are facing the problems. We know each other more better than what they can understand, because they know the scenarios that I'm working. So according to that, it's very easy for us to become friends, because they understand better and things like that. And we really have a very good bond when we come here as well. We celebrate, we party, we meet each other, even the family. So it's really good. Like, we really live like a family over there.
Nice. Yeah. So like you said, you are only on a ship for 5 months. Does it become challenging when you know at the end of that 5 months, you have developed a kind of bond with those people and you will never be able to meet them again?
See, when we come on ship, the first day we think like, who are these people, and how it's gonna be? Even if he's a chief engineer or a captain, they have this in their mind, like how am I gonna spend the next 5 months? I hope the people are good and things like that. And once you are so, the bonding is so strong in 1 or 2 months with those people. Once you sign off, the day you sign off, it's the happiest day of your life because you're going home. But at the same time, when you wave the bye to the people, it really feels that, oh, I had such a beautiful time on the ship with these people and was such a fantastic time. So when you get down those stairs from the ship and step on the land, it's like two feelings. 50% it's the happiness of meeting your loved ones. I would say 70%. And your family going back to home after such a long time. And 30% also it's like you're missing the machineries, the time you spend, those people. And yeah, so it's kind of a mixed feeling.
So you don't only get attached to people, but you also get attached to work, then all the machineries that you're working with?
Obviously, because I would say I have a big enthusiasm and love towards the machine, because daily you are, like I would say, if for a person to become a marine engineer, and once he becomes that, and once he starts loving his job, the sound of the machineries, how they react. Our job is to use our senses, especially to smell, to hear, and to see if there is any issues, to touch. So on a daily basis, we become so vulnerable to, like if there is any issue or something like that to those machineries, we actually treat them like our own babies. Like a ship is, that's why called a she, because we have to maintain her, we have to make her happy, we have to always, do the cosmetics, and we have to always carry her around, take care of her, let her know that, okay, don't be sad. You have to always keep doing the same things that you do to your girlfriend or your wife or your woman to the ship. So that's why even the machineries, like if we pay respects the first day we enter the engine room or the machineries, because we tell that, just as you tell your car, if you take care of your car will take care of you. Similarly, if you take care of your machineries, they will take care of you. Otherwise, the machineries will make sure that your life is hell on board. Yeah.
So have you seen any sharks, whales, dolphins, any of these water animals?
Yeah, because I love animals, and if I get the first opportunity, I call the deck officers and tell them, just let me know if you see any dolphins, whales, and anything. If we are free, I just run around on the deck to see those, because it's the most beautiful feeling on this world to see them. You cannot see them quite often when you are over here. So why miss the opportunity to actually feel and see these massive living beings on the world? Yeah, obviously, yeah.
So you have seen them?
Yeah, I've definitely seen them, a lot of them.
And which places are they most prominently present?
You have like on the southern part of the Europe, and also near the Atlantic Ocean, and you cannot see much in the deep oceans, but when you approach the land, slowly you can see the dolphins playing around the ships. Like when the ship passes, you can see the dolphins are coming and playing around the ship. You can see the seals. They are sitting on the bulbous bow of the ship. They're just having and enjoying the water coming at the faces. And then you can see the birds traveling with us, sitting on the deck, making the deck dirty. Yeah, so you can see that often.
What kind of animals have you seen? Only these three, or there are other animals? What animals which we don't know about?
Even the world says that only, the NASA, they just try to explore only 10% of what the ocean's depth is. So it's like they believe, there are so many unknown even things which is living inside the ocean. So we can't just see so much of those animals, because most of them, because the ship is so massive and create a small turbulence once they are passing through the ocean. So they don't, these big animals, they don't generally come near the ship. Only the playful ones like dolphins or seals, or sometimes if we have the chance, like the whales. But yeah, if we are on the anchorage, we had time when we saw tiger sharks, whales, I would say seals, dolphins, orcas, then I would say even sometimes squids. So we have had times before, I mean, when we used to just open the pilot doors, even though like when we were waiting for the pilots, and just see these animals and just sit there and enjoy the view for a long time. Yeah, it's really calm. It's really beautiful.
Which places have you been to? Because when you're working on a ship, you have to board a ship from a certain place. You depart at a certain place, and then on all the stops that a ship takes, you have the luxury to actually go out on the land and visit those places, right?
Yeah, so I would say we are quite lucky as marine engineers because deck people, like there are two departments. Sadly, they have to work when the ship is in the port. And if we are successful in doing the maintenance works before, so once we have the schedule, then we see which are the ports we are going. So we make sure that, okay, like we sit with the people, like I being a second engineer, sit with my staff, with the crew, with my juniors, and I sit with them and we discuss which ports can be done so that we can plan the maintenance in the ports which is not so happening. So when we stay for 2 days or 2.5 days, so like we have a rule that only 50% of the people in one department can go out, so that we have people on board for emergencies. So the 50%, they can go out anytime, like maybe 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, and come back by 10 o'clock in the night. They can explore the whole places wherever they want. So I've been to almost 74 countries until now. So it's like, it's very, I would say I'm very lucky by God's grace for that matter, that I got to see these many countries and created memories over there with the people that I had, with my friends whom I made when I was on the ship, try different cuisines, meet different people, see their cultures, see the beautiful monuments, and yeah, I mean, all of that free of cost. Only spending some few bucks to just buy it for traveling, that's it.
Which place do you like the most?
I would say Italy, definitely, the most beautiful place. And I would say also Rijeka in Croatia, because you have the place where, if I would ask a person, are you a mountain person or are you a sea person? So the person gets confused. What if you have both at the same place? So Rijeka is something like that, where you have the city built on a mountain, which is surrounded by the sea. So you have like, it's the most amazing place I have seen. Most amazing people, and so clean, so neat, so nice. So, I mean, the food is so excellent and it's not so expensive. People are so happy. People are so helpful. It's really beautiful. And you really get to know, like, I would say once you are in this field for for around 20 years, you can actually go to these countries and you can actually feel which is good for you and try for that country, I mean, jobs in that country, and live for the next 10, 15 years. Because you never know when you're going to go to God, when God is going to call you. So why live life somewhere where you are not happy? I would say that live your life fully and, like be the happiest person in this world. That's it. Do whatever you can to be happy. That's all. Because no one cares in this world. I cannot think what the other person is thinking about me. I would just say, live your life the fullest. Like, be happy, that's all.
What are the types of work that you do on a ship?
I would say, like I said before, there is deck and there is engine department. So the engine people are, I would say, they're the heart, because they make sure that the ship is running. There is no issues. There is a solution for each and every problem. And and the deck people, their job is to make sure that during cargo loading and discharging, for example, if it's a container, so like they have a plan, they get a plan where the containers will be loaded and discharged and things like that. So based on that, they have to load water into tanks which are on the sides of the ship, port and starboard, port and starboard, and on the center of the ship, to make sure that the ship is balanced. So that's their duty. And also navigation, that's their duty. And also, I would say there is cooks, there is stewards. So there are people who work like from the staff, and like who has a staff in the engine as well. So there are around 3 to 4 or 5 staffs in the deck department, and 5 to 6 staffs in the engine department. And then there are 4 ranks on the deck, which is 5 ranks basically: cadet, then third officer, second officer, chief officer, captain. Similarly, on engine side, there is junior engineer. Nowadays it's more expand. So there is junior engineer, then there is fifth engineer, then there is fourth engineer, third engineer, second engineer, then there is chief engineer. So I'm a second engineer. So, and then there is galley department, which is having 1 or 2 chief cooks or a steward. So that's how it is.
Which is better?
I would say, being an engineer, that if as a person, if you want to work less stress, enjoy your life, deck is quite better on the ship, because basically I don't think they have to do anything on the ship. But if you are thinking like you get the same salary, and like you can just same salary for just doing that, because everything is so advanced that they have everything on their hands right now. And if you are thinking about a future perspective, like if you want to, I would say, for a person, like, become an engineer. Why? Because you come here as an engineer, work for 15 years, become a chief engineer, then the options are way more as compared to when you are coming to the deck department. Because for them, you can only have they can become a surveyor, or they can become a superintendent who will look after the safety part of the ship, or survey the ship again for the safeties and things like that. So the growth is, I would say, limited to them. But when you are a chief engineer, when you come to the engine department, so you can become, like, you have vast opportunities. You can become a technical consultant. For example, now I'm working on a ship which is dual fuel engine. So it runs on fuel as well as on LNG. And we have ships which will be running on methane as a fuel, ammonia as a fuel, hydrogen even as a fuel. So you can see how the technology is going. So you can see how every day we have to keep learning for our growth, and you can become a technical consultant, you can become a technical superintendent, where you will have to manage around 10 to 15 ships. Then you can become a maritime lawyer, then you can become a person who is uh, a consultant basis, where you can go on the ships and recommend them the I mean the solutions, things like that. And also you can start your own college if you want to become a rich businessman, because education is business basically, that's how our government tells us. So yeah, basically I would say engine department is quite better if you look at the future perspective of it, because there are huge options, and like the growth is very good. Yeah.
So for future, you think being a
Marine engineer
engineer is a
is
better than being on deck then?
Yes.
But if everything becomes automated, then the jobs of marine engineer would go, right?
No, the jobs of deck people will go. That's where the challenge is, because they now, like, the job is basically deblasting, looking after the containers where it's being loaded, discharged, and navigation. Already they have started autonomous ships, but an engineer will always have to be on a ship, because a machinery can have a breakdown anytime. AI cannot go and check which part of the machinery is wrong, or AI cannot, give solutions and work inside the engine, go inside the engine, explore what's going on, and give recommendations middle of the ocean. So automation can only would not affect much part of the engineer. I mean, they will not affect the engineers much. but it can affect them. So that's why I would say that, yeah, like, and for the automation to come also, it will take at least more than 10, 20 years. So that's still a lot of time.
Mhm. What changes would you like to see going forward on a life on a ship?
I would say that I know, like, practically, it's not possible for a lot of shipping companies to basically have a team which can actually help us, because the technologies nowadays are quite new and they are so challenging, like running ships on methane, LNG, ammonia, hydrogen. These are all new technologies. So even though we are getting the training and things like that, but the challenges we face when we are on ship middle of the ocean are is very vast. It's very stressful. I would recommend, like, if they can have a show-based team which can help us, and also, like, by insurance point of view, even though we have like the best insurances the industry can give us, I would still recommend like in a more better way, like if they can provide us uh, more better insurance coverage and things like that. And also, I would say in terms of entertainment, they can provide us much better relaxation, because and also now the regulations have become so stringent that life is becoming very hard. So I would say that a person who can actually guide us, when a person from shore, like when we are facing our difficulties, even though we have superintendents, surveyors, but a person of a same rank like a chief engineer, captain, who's just there to help us and suggest and give us, rather than give us more stress. So yeah, I would say those changes. Otherwise, I think life is very pretty or beautiful until now. Yeah.
Mhm. That's nice. So, to wrap up our session, what would be your advice to somebody who is now, let's say, 18 years old and wants to become somebody who works on a ship? What would your advice be to them?
I would say that try each and every type of ship. Not Don't stick to the same ship. Don't stick to the same company. Try containers. Try LNG ships. Try tankers. Try chemical tankers. Try bulk carriers. Make a good CV, because technology is now building up, and try all new. If you don't get that, if you are sticking to a single company, single carriers like containers, ask your officers for newer technologies, dual fuels, ships running on methane, hydrogen, ammonia. Learn those things and improve your knowledge, and try to challenge. Learn from your challenges and learn new challenges every day. That's what I can say.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks for
you,
your
thank you,
time.
thank you.